Hey everyone, welcome to the very first video on the channel FinesseSingh. My name is Avi and today we're officially starting a brand new adventure together. Today feels like something special for me because I'm very excited to not only launch this channel, but share my builds, my ideas, and all the crazy creative projects I've always wanted to make and share. So real quick before we jump into the building, I want to talk about what this channel is going to be. I plan to create parks, zoos, cities, pretty much anything in the simulation and creative building world. Games like Planet Coaster 2, Planet Zoo, City Skylines, and any other game down that line. My goal is to build unique worlds, take you through the process, and hopefully inspire your own projects too. So if you enjoy speed builds, park designs, and honestly cozy creative content, or just watching things slowly come together piece by piece, you are absolutely in the right place. I can't wait for you guys to see these videos. I can't wait to see how you guys watch, because for me, a lot of these videos, when I would watch them, it wasn't just for me to get creative, to see what I can do with my own builds, but it was a way for me to relax, and that's something I want to do. I want to create more content out there where people can either watch this right before they go to bed, or have it be something in the background, or something that, isn't crazy. And as much as the build might get crazy, we're going to keep a good energy on this channel. So I'm very excited to bring this to you guys, and very excited to see where this channel heads. So today we're actually going to start a new series, and it's going to be a park series based on a park called VinterGard. And VinterGard is based on something that I love and I'm obsessed with, is Norse mythology and anything also to do with Victorian buildings. So I thought, why not blend the two? And so VinterGard, the name, Vinter is winter with a W in Norse. And guard is like it's an open space, it's a pavilion, it's something like that. And Planet Coaster 2, basically when you start something in Sandbox, you get this open space. And so that was a perfect name. And I've already tested out and tried building Victorian style buildings, and that's going to be the focus for this park, because I feel like this season is perfect for that. And we're just blessed with update 8 with snow, with some amazing scenery pieces from the festive pack and the toy box pack. Although I know a lot of people think that the toy box pack might be limiting, and I definitely thought that at first too. I think I've seen what a lot of people do in this community for Planet Coaster 2 especially, and I think that if you take something like the wood blocks and you make a pillar or anything like that, I think anything is possible. And that's what I'm hoping to do with this park, and generally this channel too. We just take anything that isn't supposed to go, make it work. So with VinterGard, as you've seen in this build right now, I'm actually trying to build, I want the entrance not to be something where the guests just enter the park from a parking lot or something. It's going to be a small train ride where they go up a little hill and they see a little scene, and I'll show you guys that little scene that we're going to build. It's going to be almost a pretty decent sized clock tower, and then as they go over that hill crest, they'll see the park, and it'll just kind of give them a teaser for what they're going to see. And then this will be that first station. And to be honest, when I was building this, I was not liking the brick, the style of the brick, the way it was kind of coming off in the sunlight. Even later on I checked just in the darkness. So at this point, I wasn't even building for these walls. I was just building for the structure, what it would look like, what I can pull off here. And soon enough, I will show you guys actually the second station where the guests will be let off and then enter the park. The build that I do there, that build is actually the focus of this train station ride. And that's where I actually ended up using the pieces that I thought I wished I used here, and so I don't have to go back and do this, but I'll kind of do a copy duplicate and then we'll go into that. So we'll get into there. I'll see you guys over there in that build, and we'll start from there. See you soon. All right. So, sorry, I had a little phlegm there. Right here, I'm trying to show you guys that what basically goes into the start of my builds, and I'll clear out the whole map. I'll do a few other things on the side that I'll tell you guys about later, but right here, I'll make a whole color palette. I think, yeah, right here, I'm going to show that I've done this a couple times with my maps before. I believe this one was the Mediterranean map that I had made, and then after that was a spooky park map. It was called Mistvale Hollow. And so I love doing this because it gives me exactly a visual look at what works, especially if you change the lighting in the game and see what kind of light works with certain times of day. And then right here, I'll do the same thing with scenery pieces. I'll see what's most relevant for me, what works, what's gonna be consistently working throughout the map. You're gonna see mythology, Viking, a little bit of Western, and then in the background you'll see wall pieces, because I find that seeing it right there instead of on the pop-up menu gives me the best representation of what it looks like in the map rather than in the menu, and it has helped me like beyond I can't even explain. And right here I was just trying to test out a little wall that I can build for the pathways, especially the beginning pathway leading up to the entrance and the entrance archway. And then from here, it honestly, building something next to all my scenery pieces and even the color palette, it really helps when you need a little bit of separation from the rest of your map. It's helped me quite a bit, but a lot of times I will take them and have them follow me around the whole map because it really does help. I highly recommend, if you guys have a little bit of time when you're doing your starting out your park builds, just put out a few colors, put out some scenery pieces that you guys think you'll be using for the whole layout of your map. And then right here, I believe we were going to start where the train ride, where the pathway or the layout of the ride path will go. And right there, I believe I wanted that to be where the station is. And then we'll have the path kind of lead up this hill, which you guys saw in the clip before. So in this clip, I'm kind of going backwards right now. I'm just showing the whole map layout before it has anything, basically bare. And then from here, we're basically going to see where the build will go from here. Honestly, it makes it so much easier once you know the layout, because sometimes you will start building and then you don't realize if you're going to take your paths too far, your park goes beyond farther than, or larger than it needs to be, or smaller than it needs to be. I'm gonna ignore this shape that I'm making here, and I hope you guys do too. Not sure how that happened. I don't know why I didn't realize that when I was making that, but okay, thank goodness we fixed that. So right here, I was trying to see where the main street will lead into. So because I do want it to be the whole main street path to be pretty large, and that little green gap right there will be the archway. That'll be the secondary train station ride, and that train station ride will be going around the whole map. And I believe the name for that building at the entrance will be Grand Terminus. I'm gonna figure out that name and then not butcher it next time for you guys. So the top, the side, so this area was gonna be the lake. The top area will be this ridge area where it'll be kind of mountainous. A lot of fun rides going through there, really cool building ideas that I have for there. And over here will be I want to say the wilderness, much more nature, more like camp vibes, but Victorian. I think I'll generate some kind of image to give the best idea, and I'll put that in the next video, and then it'll give you an idea where my thinking is coming from here. Because honestly, just like the color palette and the scenery pieces, what's helped me the most is working with Gemini 2 and seeing, or any sort of AI program that starts you out. And just a quick side note right there where you see the rock paths being used, that's the main street idea that I was trying to have, as well as the train station where that will lead. This right here will be the lake area, and then from the lake, I didn't want to make a really big lake, and I tested it out on my other map, and I was hoping, so this is before the update 8, I was hoping that the water in this game, besides the pool, will freeze, because it was the exact look I was going for, the exact like vibe of that area. And thank goodness, because I have a lake in one of my other games and the water froze over, and I was so happy, and it looked so good too. Honestly, it looked really good. And right here, I'm just figuring out the paths that will lead to what direction. I believe it's the white gravel that is basically the train path that I have in mind, and the brown dirt that you're seeing, that will be the walkway path. I want the guests to be able to have a full circular, basically they're able to go from one end to the other, and they'll always end up either at the top of the park or the beginning or the start. And then right here, I believe we're going to start figuring out how the train rides can be placed, what direction. This is honestly I want to say, a spot that I'm embarrassed. It takes me the longest to figure out what direction I want this train to go. Do I have it come this way? Do I have the guest walk through this side? Or do I have it walk through that side? So this might take a while. I do remember taking some time, and this happens to every ride that I build, besides flat rides, of course. My coasters, my track rides, any ride like that, it takes me forever. And then one thing I wish Frontier will do, and I hope they do this, because I know a few other people in the community and other YouTube channels have been speaking about it, is making the footprint for the stations smaller. It would be the best thing. I don't know how high of a priority that is for them to do, but if they did that, it would honestly be one of the best changes they made, besides a couple of others. But I think myself and many other people will be really happy to see that. And so after this, I believe we're going to go into the secondary train station build, and I'm really looking forward to that, because it's really where the build starts for me. I kind of gained my traction inspiration at that point, not the first part, but that station was it right there for me. So I'll see you guys there. As we get into the station build, something that I really enjoy doing is taking a quick break and riding a tracked ride or a coaster, and really checking out what I've built so far. Maybe seeing scenery pieces that need to be added or shouldn't be there, as well as getting the guest perspective. What are they seeing? Is it a blocked view? Is it look clean? Is there rough patches? And it also gives you a little break from doing something tedious. Maybe you're adding walls along a path, or working on a building that you can't exactly figure out what fits where, but you have this idea, this vision in your head. And so taking a quick second away from what you're doing can really help you either be re-inspired or kind of get a refresh start on what you're doing. It's like maybe when you're studying, or you're at home working, or you're at work working, and taking a sip out of water, or going outside for some fresh air, or talking to somebody and then getting back at it. I believe that really helps, and it's helped me quite a bit just in park builds, is riding my coasters or my tracked rides, or sometimes even a flat ride, and seeing the park as it is. And sometimes just riding it doesn't mean that you have to go and immediately start working on what you might see needs to be changed. For myself, I have been getting better at just writing a note there. Sometimes it's a mental note, but I think it would be better for myself and for my sanity, is if I write a physical note and tell myself, for this area, I need to really add something here, or that needs to be removed, or this tree is in the way of this, and if I can remove it, it really will make the guest POV so much better. And that's something also, as I build this station in front of you guys, I've been trying to get a lot better about completing a build. Something I've done in the past, and it was done with my biggest park I've ever done, Mistville Hollow, and I hope to show you guys in a future video. I would create something and tell myself that I will come back to it to get it to 100%. And a perfect example of that is a Main Street area in Mistville Hollow. And it was this Gothic inspired Main Street. The buildings were Gothic inspired, the lighting, the aesthetic from the path to the curb separating each individual path area. And what I had done is I created this exterior that I was so proud of, and it's to this day one of my favorite builds. But my interiors were incomplete. I had empty shelves. I had lights that were there, the lighting, nighttime lighting, everything was there, but it didn't look complete. It didn't have that finish. Those lights were just there. It didn't have an end story on why that light was there. How did that light get there? And so something that I've been trying to get better about is, before I move on to the next project on a park, make sure that I've completed and I'm also happy with what I've completed, so that when I come back to it, I'm happy that, this is exactly what I had visioned. This is something that I wanted to be there. And I'm so happy that it's visually, aesthetically there. And so instead of what I've done is I will tell myself, hey, I'm happy here. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to start the next part of this project and I'll come back to this. But what happens is that you don't have that same level of inspiration you do when you're there in that present moment building something. You can come back to it. Yes, you might build it again, but there's some ideas you have while you're building that when you're telling yourself, I'll come back and I'll do that again, it might not be the same. It's better if you do it then and there, and then maybe come back and realize, oh yeah, this could be better. This is more in line with the theme of my park. But if you don't do that at all, it's so much harder to come back and be re-inspired to finish something. So something that I want to hold myself accountable is make sure I'm satisfied with what I built. I'm at complete completion with what has been done. And if I ever need to come back to it, it's only because something is not in line with the rest of the park theme. And I just make those small little edits. But when you're done with the whole park, you are so much more happier and prouder for what has been done, because, like I said, Mistville Hollow was my biggest build, and I think I got over 200 hours on that build. However, when I was done with it, I wasn't entirely happy with what had been finished. It might have looked kind of cool from the outside, the exteriors of the buildings, the rides. Some of my favorite flat ride designs and scenery pieces I've ever created were in that park, but it wasn't complete. I did not get the fine details done. I did not make a park that if I had to visit in real life, I don't know if I would visit it again. And that's something I have to ask myself every time now when I build these parks. Is this something I would visit in real life? And is this something that I would maybe get a season pass for and come back repeatedly, like you might do at Universal or Disneyland or Thorpe Park or anything like that. It's just like when you go into a restaurant, you, let's say, get a pasta. You ask yourself, is this something I would get again? Is this also a place that I would bring friends or family or loved one? Will I bring them here? It's the same thing I'm asking myself when I build these parks now. When I build a certain building, a restaurant, a storefront, a coaster layout, is this something that I would want to come back to? And for example, this clock tower, I wanted to make sure that it had the footprint, big enough footprint that it was there and it's there, but it's not overtaking the whole building. And so I really wanted to make sure I get it right. And that's another thing, not get fixated on it has to be this way, it has to be that way. I have been trying to get better about just starting the build, and will it actually work? Will it blend well with the rest of the building? Sometimes you get kind of lost in your own project and you keep adding things and you keep adding things. What I've noticed is it's sometimes better to give yourself that freedom, but also let yourself relax and build, and not think that it has to be perfection right there. Because what happens is that this is for myself, and I don't know if this applies to other people, but what I'll do is I have this expectation that something has to look this way, and if it doesn't look that way, you kind of burn yourself out. Okay, I'm not getting the end result. I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna come back to this, and maybe it'll hit me and I'll get it. It's not gonna hit you. It's not gonna make sense later on. Trust me. I saw it happen, and it might be different. Again, I'm speaking from my own experience. You gotta give yourself that space. You gotta give yourself the freedom to build it, but not put these expectations on yourself and expect that it has to be perfect right away. Just start building it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, that's fine. That's why you tear it down and you bring it back up. It's all about patience, right? And that's something that I've been trying to get better about, is being patient with the builds. And this really does apply to the rest of your life too, is give yourself that space to make the mistakes and come back to it if you need to. And by coming back to it, I mean you make those edits, you make those changes that maybe didn't make sense at the time, but later on they do, because you kind of get a fresh set of eyes on it. And that's what I really did with this clock tower. I had this idea, I had this vision, and to be honest, I got lucky with the certain look that I was going for, and it really did start coming through. An example of something being built but wanting to come back and fixing it was the first section of this train ride. That station where the brick walls, I wasn't the happiest with. I had this vision that it was going to look like this. It was going to fit. It was going to be the first impression the guest gets when they come to this park. But for some reason, I don't know what it was. In my mind, the brick walls that I had chosen, I believe that they were going to work. But after the end result, it was looking too Western themed for me. And I had started this second station build where the guests are let off to enter the park. This is where I realized, why am I not using the townhouse brick pieces? This is the exact look that I was looking for, and it's exactly what I did. And so I will translate this building style and aesthetic and move it over into the first section of this train ride. And I couldn't be happier with this section. And just a quick side note, as you're seeing, I'm trying to fiddle with the roof pieces for the clock tower. It took me a while to figure out what I actually wanted to put here, how I wanted the spire to look like. And I had remembered watching a video and also downloading a workshop code from Miss Barber. I hope I'm saying their name right and their channel name, but I will link their workshop code for this spire right here that you're seeing. It is an adjustable roof spire that came in so clutch for me and was perfect. It's exactly what I needed. And huge shout out to them. So I'll make sure I do put that in the description for this video. I really do want to experiment, want to learn how to build with these types of roof pieces, because it is individually placed. You will see, I don't really show it in this clip, but it is, I believe, the rock pieces. I cannot remember what scenery piece it is, but they took rock pieces as the tiles, which was so genius. They shrunk them completely down and duplicated it all four sides, and basically that lets you resize it to the whatever size you need. And that was such a genius way to use that piece, and something that I learned from and I hope to use for my future projects and builds. I think that's the beauty of this game, right? Taking scenery pieces that weren't supposed to be used in a certain way and using it for your own build, using it for what's supposed to work for you, and getting creative. So before I get into more of this park, which in the next video we'll be getting into the finer details and really getting the outline, I'll let you guys enjoy a little short cinematic clip that I really enjoyed making, and I'll see you guys in the end here. Bye.
Snow falls soft outside tonight, oh so still. Firelight paints the room so bright, I feel a chill. Remember summer days, now frozen haze. Fireplace burning low, tell me stories I don't know. Whispers in the glow. Fireplace, empty cups and books on shelves, dusty and old. I imagine happy elves and stories told.
I hope you guys enjoyed that very short cinematic clip. I had a lot of fun editing that. It was honestly such a blast in trying to figure out color grading, color corrections, and using a few tips and tricks I've learned in editing this whole video. I cannot wait to make content like this for you guys in the future, and also have you guys join me on this journey and series for VinterGard as we build this modern Nordic themed amusement park. And until next time, we will get into more of our heart of the park, our entrance, building our archways and seeing how the paths will lead into Main Street. And so if you guys really enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.